Good afternoon and welcome back to Living on a UK State Pension. My name's Tanya, I'm 68 years old, and for this next year I'm going to be living on my state pension only and saving my civil service pension to put back some much needed savings into my bank account basically. Anyway, I want to move on quickly, but thank you because my subscriber figures are growing, steadily. And thank you very much for that. One of the figures that does come up is that there's a lot more people viewing me that aren't subscribers. So please consider subscribing and liking my channel because it all helps with the analytics or whatever they call them that, get you out there and seen by other people. But yes, thank you so much for that. This video is about my fitness journey, basically, and because some people have asked me to describe what I get up to, etc. And it's always been very important to me to stay fit. I did do health studies as a mature student at university, and I find the whole subject of growing old fascinating, and here I am, old myself now. So yes, and it was about, I want to say over 2 years, because I believe it still is on Netflix, and that's How to Live to Your 100, and I've got his name written down because I'm bound to say it wrong. Dan Buettner. I believe he is of German descent. He's American, but I believe the name is German. And he's an educator. And he went off to certain parts of the world, six or five unique communities throughout the world where people regularly live to over 100. Regularly. And I don't particularly want to live till I'm over 100, but when you see how well these people are that in these communities, one guy is still, he's on his ranch and he's on the back of a horse and he's running around like a mad lunatic, and he's in his 90s, things like that. And I often have wondered how these people managed to do it. Anyway, as I say, Dan went to the 5 communities. The first one he went to was an island off the coast of Japan called Okinawa, and I've probably said that wrong, but anyway, he lived amongst the people and he studied their food, their activity, everything about that community. And he realised that they grow a lot of their own food, so it's all fresh. They are having to get out in the garden regularly and hoe and tend to everything. They're having to lug water around, so they're keeping active. The gardening side of it is giving them a job to do where they remain active. And some of them, they all belong to maybe a religious group, which helped both the religious side of things and having close family around them helped them with their mental health, which is as important as physical health, because you can often talk over things with friends and family. Their diet mainly consisted of beans, in nearly all these places he went to, because like in the UK, beans are quite easy to grow. They really are easy, and now we have access to even more types of beans to grow that are now zoned for our area, because traditionally they may have been grown in a different climate, but now they've got a breed that is able to grow here. A breed is the wrong word. They've got a species that will grow here, sort of thing. So yeah, that the freshness and looking after their garden was paramount, and sleeping. So the key things that he came up with was eating mainly beans in your diet was very good for you. Vegetables, obviously, our own UK doctors and scientists have been saying vegetables, fruit, whole grains for a long time. Ultra processed food doesn't even come into it. They don't even have it in their communities, so they're not exposed to it. Close family ties, moderate amount of wine, good friends, and getting out and socializing, because again, it's a release valve. It's a way where you can, you know, me going 3 times a week to the pool, I see different people, we have a chat, a couple of us may go for coffee after. Yeah, I have quite a good group of different people, different types of people that I meet up, and you know, we have a great time together. Good family ties, it says. Well, yeah, that's important. We have a family WhatsApp group, and I'm regularly on there asking my daughters, you know, how they are when I don't get to see them all the time. And when I phoned them a little while ago, probably going back about 3 weeks now, to tell them what I was doing, how I'd started a YouTube channel and everything. It was a mix of emotions from them. Yes, they were proud of me, very proud, and goodness, you know, especially when I told them the figures as well. They were concerned. They were concerned for my safety, maybe being bullied on media, which happens. But once I told them that I have tools within YouTube that I can use, where I don't ever have to see people again if I don't want to, then, you know, that's what's available to me. So, you know, within reason, it is quite relatively safe environment for me. And if I'm completely honest as well, touch wood, the negative responses to anything have been very low, and if I'm brutally honest with you, been born out of ignorance. People haven't read what my channel is about and made a bizarre comment, you know, about something. So yeah, you're always going to have keyboard warriors, aren't you, wherever you are. So yes, he was absolutely fascinated by everything. Sleep was very important, he said, and always sleep the amount of time that your body tells you to. So if you wake up and you're still tired, don't rush to get out of bed. Stay in bed. If that's what your body is telling you to do, stay in bed if you can, obviously. Other things he found was that these people throughout their day are up and down, constantly doing something. Now, for example, just put my laptop on the floor. When he was in Japan, he noticed that either people sat on the floor or they sat on some kind of small buffet, footstool, whatever which was, you know, about a foot off the floor. So they were in a crouching position on the stool. So they were regularly having to get up and down, up and down. And he realised that this was a built-in form of exercise for them. And they were just doing it naturally. And something I did find out after, and I went online and I found it again here, because this often comes up, and I'll read it out to you. You might think that moving less will help you avoid a fall, but actually moving more and staying active is the best thing you can do to stay as mobile and independent as possible. Being active can help you maintain your strength, balance and coordination, which actually ends up preventing falls. Because like a tree, this is the example I'm using, the analogy, shall we say, is when you buy a young tree and you plant it, a lot of people put stabilizers next to it, because as the tree moves like this, you don't want it to go too far over because it's so supple it will snap. So the stabilizer allows it to move backwards and forwards like this. What is actually happening with that movement? The fibres on the outside of the tree are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and they are building strength in that tree to stop it bending as far, so it gets stronger. It's able to hold its own against wind, etc., like that. Now, using your body is exactly the same thing. Exactly. By keep up and down and everything else, you are strengthening your body. Walking, moving, just keeping active. The saying is that sitting is the new smoking, and it is. It really is. So, you know, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is, if you're anything like me and you happen to watch some channels that have got, you know, adverts, unfortunately, that either last 3 to 4 minutes in between a programme. If you're not using it to go to the loo or making yourself a cuppa, grab some weights. Grab some weights, whether it be 2 tins of baked beans or whether you can afford to go out and buy these. I think they're £5 for 2 or £6 for 2 in Argos. These are 2 kilos, 1 kilo each, like this. Use them in the adverts. Nobody's going to see you. Nobody cares. It's for you. It's nobody else. I don't care. I'm doing this for me so that I stay strong, you know, and it'll all build muscle in the end, you know. If you don't want to go to a gym, get yourself a couple of little weights and, you know, start helping your body a little bit. It all adds up. You do that a couple of nights during the week in the adverts. If you're watching a channel that's got adverts, you'll be surprised how well that does. I've also got the heavier weight that I bought. This is a 4 kilo and I bought it last month off the Facebook page. And yeah, I will do ones like that as well as getting it up and down, and it all helps. We all need to keep our muscle tone for as long as possible because it will keep our independence. They also sincerely believe that we should, in our 50s, 60s, 70s, get on the floor and practice getting up off the floor on a regular basis. Because although you may fall over and you may not break anything, if you can't get yourself up from the floor and you haven't broken anything, then your situation is going to deteriorate by the amount of hours you are laying on the floor, basically. So yeah, do that. Practice getting up off the floor on a regular basis. They're all little things, as I say, in the privacy of your own home that may help you put some of your fears to bed about growing old and maybe help you strengthen yourself up, both in your mind and your body. I go to Aquasize because 3 times a week it fulfills my exercise, because there's a lot of jumping up and down in it. So again, it's helping those muscles get stronger. There's resistance because you're pushing through the water. We often have to run through the water from one side of the pool to the other, things like that. We have dumbbells that go under the water, and we have to punch with them and do all sorts of things. So it's resistance training. So 3 times a week, not only am I exercising, I'm meeting different people. We sometimes go out for coffee after, and we had a Christmas do all together. The Aquasize group had a Christmas party. So the social side comes into it, which is important as well. And I have a Garmin. I'm not advertising it. I don't get anything for it. Just saying. But it's brilliant. I've had Fitbits, and this is my second Garmin in 10 years, and I love them. This is waterproof, so it goes in the water with me. It counts everything I'm doing in Aquasize. When you set it up according to your age, etc., which immediately told me I should be doing 8,000 steps a day, not 10, 8 for my age. So I do that, so it records my steps. At the moment I'm on 4,388, and I have another walk to do with Bertie. So that will soon be up there. It also monitors your sleep pattern. You can set alarms on it. It does far more than I ever will do. But the other thing I like about it is it tells me when I'm stressing over something. I may not have realised, but that realises. It realises by obviously my blood pressure, my heart rate, it realises it, and even my breathing. And it tells me to slow everything down. A little man appears on the screen, and he tells me to exhale and inhale to bring down my heart rate. Now, it was funny because when I took delivery of my big unit in the living room here, one of the days my husband was dropping Bertie off, I said to him, can you hang around for a little bit and help me with the wires? Because I couldn't be at the top of the unit and the bottom of the unit at the same time when it came to putting my TV up. And he said, yeah, not a problem. So I got on the floor and he was threading wires down to me to put in the sockets and to attach to various things. And I started laughing, and he said, what are you laughing about? And I said, oh, my Garmin's telling me I'm stressing. And I could feel it, because I was struggling I was on the floor in an awkward position trying to get these wires to do what I wanted them to do, and they weren't playing ball, so I was stressing out. So yes, it does tell you that, you need to calm down. And I love it, and I got it when it was down to half price. I think it's a relatively old model now. It's not one of the latest ones. I think I paid about £57 Amazon, Argos, I can't remember exactly. But yeah, that means a lot to me to stay fit. I used to go to Pilates. I've dropped it for a few weeks because I was going out at tea time, having to de-ice my car to go out a few miles up the road, come out of Pilates, I'd have to de-ice it again and come back. So as soon as the weather gets better, I will be back doing Pilates, because that is such a good core muscle strengthener. And it helps with your posture. I've got dreadful posture from years of, over a computer. having to hot desk where you have to reset your chair, you have to pull the screen forward, you have to do so many things. And sometimes you've just got to get on with the job because people are breathing down your neck and you don't have time, and you end up slouched over a keyboard like this. So you have to reset your shoulders back so that, you know, you don't look like the crooked old woman and things like that. Moving is one of the most important things, because obviously walking is such a good exercise. Now, if you're a bored walker, as in B-O-R-E-D, bored, you don't like it, have you tried listening to an audiobook or a play on YouTube? Now, I will mention this guy. His name's Peter Whalley, W-H-A-L-L-E-Y, I believe his name is pronounced. And he does magnificent, and I mean they are brilliant, radio plays, and each of them are about an hour long. And you're so enthralled in these plays that you don't notice you are walking at all. You don't notice that you're, you know, stomping along or anything like that. And I love them. I love them. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And so I've listened to everything that he's produced now. So I'm having to go off and find other things. But that's where my library app comes in, my borrow books, and I'll borrow audio books and I'll listen to them on a walk. And yeah, I shut myself off so that I'm concentrating on me at the time. Even though I'm listening to a radio play or a book, I'm in the zone and I'm walking, and it helps keep my breathing and everything good as well. If I'm ever short of steps at the end of the day, it does happen. It does happen from time to time. There is a great guy on YouTube called Get Fit with Rick. I will mention it. I'll put it up on screen. He is brilliant, and you know, he does a lot of 70s and 80s music for you to get extra steps in with. Plus he tells you whether it's 1,000-step program, a 2,000-step or a 3,000, etc. And he has you moving, and it's quite fun, and it's an easy way to increase your steps up if you want to hit your target for the day. So that's where my fitness comes from. Obviously, diet does come into it, and maybe I do need to consider introducing some more beans and other things into my diet as well. I know I cover a lot of food groups in my diet, so it's quite well balanced. And I think, as somebody quite rightly pointed out to me, and no offence at all, I don't take any offence when it's a legitimate comment, which was that obviously one way to save money on your groceries is to have vegetarian meals or vegan meals, and that is absolutely right. So I will be producing some vegetarian and vegan meals over the coming months. And as I said to this lady, it's strange that once I start growing in my garden and getting produce from what I've grown, like when I have courgettes, and I have too many courgettes for me to deal with at any one time, I'll make them into courgette pates, and they'll be flavoured with curry or cumin and other things, and they are absolutely delicious and I love them. But it's strange that in the summer I am more of a vegetarian than I am any other time of the year. I think winter brings out the stew, the casserole, that sort of food element with me, wanting to be warm and cosy. But I would really like to master, and I had one in a pub a little while back. I'm going back about 8 months now, and that was a bean soup, 3-bean soup, and that was absolutely lovely. So if I can find the recipe for that and master it, and if any of you have got any recommendations when it comes to bean soups out there, let me have them, and I'll try to reproduce one, and I'll give it an honest review about it. And yeah, so that, you know, if I can make something out of beans like that, and I know it's helping me as in my diet, then yeah, I'm going to go for it, because I do eat a fair bit of soup in the winter, so I might as well do it to my advantage. And that's my policy, you know, my view on life. So I hope you found this interesting. You know, if it's not for you, then I completely understand. It was just to answer some questions. And yes, when I'm brave enough, I'm not quite that brave yet to actually show you some of the routines I do, but I will in time. I will don my my leggings and my top and show you what I get up to when I watch stuff on YouTube. There's a good lady on there that does the kettlebell, and I enjoy that because it's a 20-minute routine, which I've mentioned before. And yeah, it's all little things, break the boredom, and I think that's what's important. Being fit doesn't have to be boring, like food doesn't have to be boring. Just switch it up every now and again, do a little bit, but do it often, and you'll get there. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.